What's going on, family? We back on here with the Juke, man. And today we got a little fun little episode. We got a fan versus fan, Bulls versus Heat pregame episode, and just getting a little more insight on the Miami Heat and what their fandom is really thinking right now. So, as you see on the screen, we got Poppy Azil out here, co-host on the Balls in Your Face podcast. How you feeling, man? It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time doing something like this, bro. So it's good to get back in the rhythm of it.
Let's go. We're going to the game next Wednesday, so it's going to be lit. We got to get this preview out before the game, of course, and get our little predictions out. And formally, I just want to know, what are your expectations for the game? But before we get to that, let me know, when did you start being a Miami Heat fan? Who made you a Heat fan? And, who's your player right now? Who's your favorite player?
So, funny enough, my family's from Boston. So I grew up everything Boston. So Red Sox, Patriots. I was originally a Celtics fan as a kid. So I remember when they lost to the Lakers, I saw Kobe celebrating. I hated that. I hated Kobe. Was a Celtics fan, whatever. But at the time, I was like, there was this guy named Dwayne Wade, and he was my favorite player. And I'm born in Florida. I'm born in, I guess, Orlando area, but Miami, still Florida. So I'm like, this guy's doing right. I really like him. The Heat weren't that good at the time. And I was like, let me follow this team, right? And I started following them. And then, of course, out of nowhere, Big Three formed. So LeBron, Chris Bosh come. Miami's the best team. We're going to the finals, doing all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, that's my team. So I became a Heat fan. You know you're a real fan when you go through the trials and tribulations. So, even after the LeBron era, we went through the year, it was 2016-17. We started the year 11-30, or 11-31. And seasons like that tests, how much of a fan you really are, because you're your team is trash.
I'm a Giants
One of
fan
the
and I'm
worst
a
records
Bulls
in the
fan,
league.
so I know exactly what you're talking about.
We had one of the worst records in the league. Actually, at the time, coming into that year, Lonzo Ball, your guy, he was the top prospect in the draft, and they were talking about, should we tank for Lonzo? And we were 11-31, and then we flipped the season completely around 180, and we went 31-11 on the second half of the season, and we ended up 500, and we ended up actually drafting Bam in that draft. But to me, that showed no matter how bad this team was, they're gonna fight and everything. As a fan, you love that. You want to see your team go out there and compete, and that's what they've done. So yeah, it's been a long ride. We made it to the NBA Finals a couple years ago. Still one of the best teams in the East right now. So I know you said my favorite players right now. I gotta rock with Bam, and
wow,
it's funny. Yeah, no, it's funny because when they drafted him, I remember literally screaming at the TV. I was like, no! I was like, who? Because I've seen Bam play, because his team at Kentucky, it was him and De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, and him stole the show, and I'm like, Bam, he's just this center. We had Hassan Whiteside at the time. I'm like, I hate that pick. I'm like, we're trading the pick. I was like, there's no way that's going to be him. And then, seeing him come in, develop into the player he is, made his first All-Star team, one of the best defensive player in the league. So for that, he definitely earned my respect. So that's my favorite Heat player right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised he kind of didn't go with the former Chicago player, Jimmy Butler. That's what kind of shook me.
Nah, he definitely, I love Jimmy Butler. I love all of them, but he gives the Heat their identity, and obviously Bam, trying to be a young leader, he definitely follows Jimmy's lead, but Bam got my respect.
Okay.
And that boy Tyler Hero too. Don't forget about Tyler Hero. That boy, I'll get
we could talk about his overpaid contract in a little bit. But I definitely know Jimmy Butler got them extensions, and all of a sudden you didn't want to mess with him like that. So that's definitely part of the reason.
You see, Pete, Jimmy's a smart guy. He does what he does. He manipulates the media. He plays hair out, and it's the whole story. Jimmy Butler has his hair like this. You know what? Now when you look at his picture for NBA.com, you're going to see him in dreads, and he's trolling you. He's living in your head rent-free. He knows what he was doing. Now he got the braids back on, so he knew what he was doing.
It's either that or the coffee. It's one of the two. But diving straight into the matchup, though. For me, last year, I expected us to kind of go head-to-head with the Heat a lot more than we did. And I don't even think we won a single matchup last year, if I don't recall. I think we lost all 3 times. So that was a little rough. But going into the season, obviously, we're opening the season against you guys. I think the NBA sees that it should be a good matchup. Where do you stand on the Chicago Bulls? What do you think about them? And then I'll dive in on my side as well.
The most bizarre storyline to me in the offseason, or at least one of them, what's going on with Lonzo? Because that, And
Man.
I like Lonzo. I actually do like him. And I think if he was played, like, it would make like a more interesting matchup. But he missed the end of last year for this knee injury, kind of mysterious knee injury, had surgery. And you're thinking, all right, coming in, fresh start, new season, all that. He recently said he can't walk and he can't jump and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. You're coming into game one already a little shorthanded. So, I mean,
Yo, tell me about it, bro. Literally, this is my second most viewed video on my channel. And it was a video on Lonzo Ball because I was like, yo, what's going on with him? Because there's so much like murky water when it comes to his injury and when it comes to him in general. He got hurt in February of this year, 8 months ago. He
yeah.
got surgery and he said he was supposed to be out 4 to 6 weeks. For y'all that don't know, 4 to 6 weeks is a month and a half. We're 8 months in and we still didn't have an update until just a couple weeks ago. So as you know now, they went into his knee, cleaned up some stuff. He got another surgery, and he was out there saying on an interview, "Oh, I can't run, I can't jump, like everything that you need to do to be a basketball player, he can't do." So I
Not even
really,
just a human being. Like, you can't even do that stuff. Like,
yeah, literally. So I don't know what's going on with him. What's worrying me is that it looks like it's gonna be like a chronic knee issue because this is a knee issue that he's had since he was on the Lakers when he was first on them. So Lonzo Ball, bro, like I felt like he was the big difference maker on our team, and we're probably not gonna have him for the whole first half of the season. So definitely disappointing. And when it comes to playing a team like you guys, I really wanted him on the team to be able to shut guards down like you guys have, but man, you gotta be able to live without it. So, I mean, that's it on Lonzo Ball. But we did sign Zach LaVine, locked him up. You were saying that he was gonna be on the Miami Heat. You were just trolling. But what do you think
I
about?
was trolling. I was trolling.
But what do you think about him signing to Chicago Bulls? And I mean, he should be a threat for the foreseeable future in the East with him on the Bulls. But where do you stand on that?
I think personally, like I said, I like Zach LaVine. I think he's probably one of the more underrated players in the league. You think of someone like Devin Booker, like a scorer like that. Like, I think honestly, LaVine should be elevated to that level. So I definitely respect him. I like the tandem of him and DeRozan. I think they work well together. Obviously LaVine is super athletic, really good shooter. So I like LaVine for that team. I'm actually happy that he found a home. Him coming to like re-signing with Chicago and everything. I was trolling. I wanted everyone on the Heat, so I said,
That
"Shoot,
is
we'll,
true.
we'll trade you Duncan straight up for LaVine."
Yeah, you were talking
But
about every possible move they can make, and they ended up making none in the
I was talking
offseason.
about a whole
So
bunch of signing trades. I'm like, we can do like 3 team sign trades doing this. He ended up in Chicago, but I think that's a good fit for him. I think he's definitely grown as a scorer with that team, and now this is like the next chapter for him. Locked him up for a little bit longer, so I think that's a good spot for him.
all right, and before we dive into the matchup real quick, give me your projection for the Miami Heat finishing in the East. Obviously, you got to talk about the moves, or we don't have to talk about the moves, but we can go into obviously the Cavs should be a little better. Atlanta might be a little better. Where do you feel like your team falls in the standings?
Right now, coming into the season, the East is there's a little parity in the East right now. I don't think there's a clear cut number one, like some people do. I think if I had to pick a team right now, I think Milwaukee probably deserves that number one spot. Last year, they fell to Boston in seven without Chris Middleton. So if he's there, who knows? Maybe it would have been a little different. So I got Milwaukee at the top. Boston, I got them number two. Little bit of questions at top. Coaching, we all know what happened to
I forgot.
Udoka.
I
So
forgot.
yeah, so that's what happens when your coach, does some sticky situations. So, uh,
Nah, literally.
so I got Boston number two. I got Miami slotted in at number three. I think they're gonna be
Wow.
fighting with Philly. Philly should be improved. They took PJ Tucker from us. They got some toughness on their side. Had some other additions I like on their team. So I think we're gonna be fighting with them for that third spot. So yeah, I think we're gonna be around third or fourth around there. Uh, I think our season goes as far as Tyler Hero goes, actually. And like you said earlier,
Oh
he signed
man.
that well deserved, beautiful, beautiful contract extension, rookie contract extension with the Heat. Um Obviously with unquestioned, I think Jimmy Butler's our best player on the team. Um Tyler Hero definitely has the potential to be, and I think he was last year, but I think he could grow on it. He's the best scorer on our team. Like, pound for pound, like score, like shooting, handling, doing all that, I think Tyler Hero's the best player or best shooter and best scorer on our team all around. So I think if he can elevate his game to that next level, and obviously coming in, a lot of people compared him to Devin Booker game wise, both from Kentucky, all that. If he could take the career arc that Devin Booker did going in his fourth season, I think Devin Booker averaged 26, which that's a high number.
Mm.
But if Tyler could be around 23, 24, increase from last year when he averaged 20, I think first time All Star might be in his cards, and I think our team goes as far as he goes.
Yeah, I mean, I hope because at the end of the day, obviously he's getting paid what he's getting paid. I think it's an overpay. If whatever you think in the comments,
That's
y'all let
your
me know. Y'all let me know what you think about his contract. He's getting paid like 32 mil a year, I think, something like that. But I will say, I mean, anyone would take a Devin Booker. Anybody would. So if he's able to do that, then he's worth the contract. I'm not gonna lie, he is. But in terms of like just overall what he's gonna bring to your lineup, he should be able to provide that spark he did last year. But coming off the bench and starting games is two completely different things, especially when you're starting to face the starting lineup and the other team. Obviously, he was there for the closing lineup of your games, but we got to see it. We just have to see it unravel
Yeah.
altogether. For me, as a Bulls fan, in terms of projecting where we're gonna finish, and this is just how I've been feeling these past years. I just felt like we're better than y'all. I literally just feel like we're better than y'all.
You just said that you
You,
didn't beat us last year.
I know, but I feel like we are better.
But we're better than
Like,
you.
I just feel like we're better. We can be better. We just have to play. And Eric Spoelstra, he just dials up a good defensive matchup every time we play, y'all. And we need to add some shooting. And I addressed it in my video. We did not address any shooting. So all I know is this first week, I mean, we were playing y'all towards the end of the season where games really, really mattered. I want to see how Spoelstra's going to play us, but all I know is last year he just made Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan dish it out to everybody else, and nobody was making shots. That's what I know what happened last year. So hopefully,
Get ready for that this time around.
hopefully it's week one. Maybe they're trying to, not even week one, game one. Hopefully they're trying to get some other things situated. But, diving into the game, I'm going to start from obviously position to position. We're going to go from point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward to center. Just want to compare our lineups and see who takes what. So point guard, as you know, Lonzo Ball is going to be out. So our starting point guard is going to be Ayo Dosunmu going up with your boy
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry, Lil Thickums. What you think about that matchup real quick?
I think you would agree with me. I think even though Kyle didn't have the season most people would have expected last year coming in, he still has that track record, veteran leadership, still one of the high assist men in the league. So I think head-to-head matchup, I think you would take Kyle over Dosunmu. Dosunmu's a nice young player. Like you said, I don't think he profiles as a starter coming in. I think his ceiling is like a high volume bench score, but I think you would still take Kyle Lowry over Lil Thickums.
Nah, yeah, I can't argue. I literally can't argue. Mainly because I don't have the history. I don't have the history to back up anything. He's coming into the starting point guard, and he wouldn't have been if Lonzo was back. So, I mean, I'll give it to you on that part. But he gained like 10 pounds of muscle. So I'm excited to see what he's got going on for this season. I don't know what he got going on, but hopefully it's something nice.
He gained 10 pounds of muscle. Kyle Lowry lost 10 pounds, so it evens out. So
Kyle Lowry could have lost like 20 though. Anywho, moving on to shooting guard, we got Zach LaVine, of course, going up with your boy.
And it's funny because we haven't officially named who our starter is going to be. I fully expect Tyler. This will be his first year starting. I think he's going to take that spot. So LaVine against Mr. Hero. I'm going with Tyler. No,
I was about to say, bro.
Nah. Like we were just talking about, obviously, AO. Obviously, LaVine has a longer track record of being a high volume scorer and everything. Like I said, I believe in Tyler Hero, wholeheartedly believe in him 100%. But even I, your most honest Heat fan, would obviously take LaVine over him. But I guarantee you, Tyler Hero will be the leading scorer game one. I promise you he's going to go over 30 and we're going to get the win. That's my prediction right now. Once it happens, you're going to post it. Watch.
We're going to find out. I mean, honestly, I don't even know if I wonder if Zach Levine would be guarding Tyler Hero. I mean, they could switch it and just put Io on Hero, but I don't know. We're gonna see. But it's interesting because they're both scorers and they're both not really known for their defense. I think Zach Levine has underrated defense, but I got no stats to back up with that, so I'm not even gonna argue for it.
I mean, he's decent sized, athletic, so
Yeah,
in theory, he should be a better defender. So yeah,
his athletic ability will be able to save him in certain possessions. So that's what
yeah,
I feel like when it comes to the defense. But we'll go with Zach Levine to that for sure. Small forward, this is the matchup right here, and I
yeah.
say this because this is the way it should be. Not the All Star team trying to put what they try to put. They try to put Demar as power forward, I believe, in the All Star game, or they
Oh,
put
yeah,
him. Oh no, they put him as a shooting guard. That's what they
yeah, they
did.
put him as a guard.
They
Yeah,
put
when
him as a shooting guard instead of a small forward. But
it
DeMar
makes they
DeRozan,
put him as a they put him as a guard, and Levine was a guard, but then it's also like Lonzo was your starting point guard. So yeah, it
yes, that just
makes
didn't
no
make any
sense.
sense. But DeMar DeRozan, our small forward, obviously, I was telling people at work the other day, like he was playing like the best player last year. He just might be the best player on our team this year. And obviously, in my opinion, going against your best player, Jimmy Butler, um, that was tough. That was tough. I'm
Come
not
on,
gonna
be
hold you. That
honest.
was
Be
tough.
honest. Come on.
That was tough. But if I'm given the edge strictly off of what I've seen last year, I gotta give it to Jimmy Butler. He's just too physical. He's a lot more physical when it comes to defense than Demar. I will say I don't think he's gonna lock up Demar because nobody's locked up Demar. He's able to get to his shot whenever he can, but just Jimmy's two-way ability. That's why I think he's the best player on your team. Like literally, when it comes down to it in the clutch, he's getting the ball. So I got Jimmy Butler.
I love hearing you talk so much good stuff about my guy Jimmy Butler. I know as a Bulls fan, be honest, do you feel bad watching someone that was on your team do so well for another organization?
It does hurt, especially when he doesn't talk about coming back or anything like that. I'm a Giants fan, so I see people. I just had Landon Collins sign back with the Giants. Odell teases us all the time. Jimmy Butler, you don't hear a peep. Like nothing comes out about that. So
Yeah, he's not going back, and he's not.
yeah, I guess it's good that he doesn't entertain it. So
So yeah, him matched up with DeRozan. I'm gonna take my guy. I'm gonna take Jimmy. I think regular season. I think we kind of seen the past couple of years. Jimmy he's built to coast through the regular season. A lot of his game isn't built on scoring. He does the dirty work, rebounding, playmaking a lot for our team, hustling, all that stuff. So he still averages 20, but obviously when playoffs come around, we saw what he does last year. He elevates his scoring like at least like 6 or 7 points per game, and he turns into a completely different player. Against the Celtics, we wouldn't have pushed it to Game 7 if it wasn't for him. I'll live and die by Jimmy Butler. We ended up he missed the shot Game 7, but I wasn't mad with the shot because we wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for him. So yeah, I would take him over DeRozan. But that being said, I think DeRozan probably, if you look at the stats for next year, like going into the season, I think you're probably gonna see DeRozan have better stats going into the season. But like I said, postseason, that's what Jimmy's there for. So that's why I think he takes the edge.
yeah, he's just more valuable at the end of the day in terms of his defense ability. But I mean, DeMar DeRozan was an MVP candidate last year, so I mean, I don't think we're gonna see the same outing with Zach LaVine healthy. I just hope that Zach LaVine can carry a little more, especially with that contract. You can't have DeMar DeRozan doing that while you're putting. He wasn't putting bad numbers. I think he was scoring like 25 a game last year. But this is your team. You got this contract. I need him to step up over DeMar. Hopefully, he takes that leap. Going into power forward, and honestly, I don't even know who your power forward is gonna be. But power forwarding, our starting power forward should be Patrick Williams.
So obviously, like I touched on earlier, PJ Tucker signing with Philly kind of left a little bit of a void. So if I'm 100% honest, we still don't know. Like I said, Eric Spoelstra hasn't really given out his projected lineup. Right now, there's two options of who might be our power forward. One option is actually moving Bam Adebayo, sliding him up to power forward and starting Omar Yurtseven at center. That's
Wow.
something that's been thrown out there. So, I mean, if we're looking at it like that, I think we would take Bam over Patrick. But I don't personally think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to keep Bam at center. I think Caleb Martin is going to slide into our power forward. He's a little bit undersized as well. He's 6'7", athletic wing. Last year he actually came in on he actually got released by Charlotte. Him and or his twin brother Cody plays for Charlotte.
Mm.
He got released. He signed a 2-way contract with us, and literally within like the first 10 games of the season, we're like, yeah, we got to turn him into like a real contract. So I ended up signing him. He was a free agent this year. We gave him real money. We gave him a 3-year, $20 million contract. Not the biggest contract, but definitely something that you're not just giving out to any random person like to fill out your roster for the next 3 years. So that being said, he added apparently 10 pounds of muscle too coming in the offseason. That's like the sweet spot that everyone says, 10 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, no,
We'll see.
literally.
We'll see if it holds up throughout the regular season. But yeah, obviously if we look at the matchup like that, I think Patrick Williams has more upside than him. Like you said, this is what, year 3 for Patrick?
Year 3, yeah.
Year 3 for Patrick. So Caleb, we'll see. It might be a little bit more of an experiment him at the power forward. We might play faster pace. He can take the rebound and push it up the court, but we'll see how that goes.
Is this year 4 for Tyler?
This is year 4 for Tyler.
No, it's year 4 for Patrick. They were in the same draft.
Oh, were they in the same draft? I said that's literally when I said for Patrick Williams. I was like, oh,
yeah, it's his 4th because he played rookie year. Then his no.
Wait.
We'll look into that. We'll leave that for later.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
But yeah, I expect it to be Patrick Williams over the power forward matchup on the other side. But I will say we've been banking on him being super aggressive, and we just haven't seen it yet. So I'm not gonna book in on that until I see it. Hopefully we see it, but I'm just tired of this whole like Patrick Williams needs to do this. Like this might be his last year if he doesn't do this. So we'll find out.
What's his nickname?
Oh, the paw.
Yeah,
the paw. Come on now.
That nickname pisses me off. That's one of the. That's literally. Oh, he's the next Kawhi. Like, what's similar to the claw? Oh, the paw, bro. That's the worst nickname in the NBA. The claw is fire. The paw, you're just a little puppy. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that nickname.
Ask Tyler Hero what he likes about them paws.
Yeah,
I'll put it in a highlight from last year right now. I'll put it in. But going into the center matchup, I don't even think it's worth spending too much time talking about it. Vucevic, whatever's left of him, and obviously Bam Adebayo.
You're out on Vucevic like that?
Last year was a bad year for him, and I'm just hoping like it wasn't like he had a decline in terms of production, and you seen him in Miami and Orlando with the Magic. He was like an all-star player every single year. And when we first traded for him, he did really good. And then once we start, obviously when it comes to the three-headed monsters of these teams, obviously somebody has a decline and somebody drops off a little bit, but he just wasn't making shots. Like the offense was running through him low key. He was getting open looks at the top of the key, and he was just missing some 3-point shots, and that's what Vucevic was known for. So I'm kind of leaning towards like he's just starting to decline as a player. His age is obviously, he's not getting any younger. And defensively, he never was a good defender in the first place. So when you got an athletic center in Bam Adebayo, he's not going to be able to guard him as much. We'll see how the matchup turns out, but, it's Bam Adebayo all the way.
Like I said earlier, I think of the world of Bam, just his potential that he has defensively. I think he's already one of the top 3 defensive players, and be on the lookout for Defensive Player of the Year this year, just saying. But if I have to be honest, the critique of him in the past, which resurfaced in the playoffs, was just aggressiveness. In the Boston series, he wasn't as aggressive with his shot. I think coming into this year, not just shooting shots, but just being aggressive and everything. So I think this year coming in, you're probably going to see him, I think, right from game 1, just attacking more of the basket, just looking to score first more rather than being more passive and everything. If he does that, I honestly think the year he made the All-Star team, he averaged, I think, 18 and a half around there. I think this year, obviously, if he takes that next step, he could definitely be a 20-plus point per game scorer. And if he does that on a consistent basis, not just in the regular season, the playoffs, then I think we got one of the brightest young big men in the league. But, yeah, over Vucevic, I'll definitely take Bam on that one.
Yeah, so when you look at that, I mean, that's 3-2 in terms of starting lineup. I like our guys on the bench, but we're not going to dive into the bench. So out of the lineup, you had Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo. And then obviously I had Zach LaVine and Patrick Williams. So it's going to be an interesting game, though, for sure. But who's winning the game? That's the real question. Who's gonna win the game? Who's gonna come out 1-0? Who you got?
We are gonna win with a final score of 105-97. My boy Tyler Hero's gonna ice it out. He's gonna ice the game out.
You know,
That's my prediction.
we're gonna be in the building, so it's gonna
We are
be
gonna be in the
definitely
building.
electric. And if we're in the building, we're winning. That's what happens when I pull up to these games. You know, we just win. So for sure, we're gonna win. Guessing a final score in basketball is really tough, but
Nah, it's tough.
I'll say 95 to 100, and we have 100. So yeah, I think we're gonna take the W. I appreciate you jumping on, of course. This little fan reaction. The Heat played the Bulls a couple different times, so maybe this team could link up in the midseason matchup or even towards the end, and we could even recap what we talked about today.
Of course, man. Anytime the Heat come up, I'm willing to, throw down, just have a little conversation, talk about my team. So anytime, man.
Yeah, so we're gonna be linking up at the game, of course, on that Wednesday. We're gonna be there for Game 1. Cool little vlog is gonna be coming through. It should be a fire vid out there in Miami, out there in the Biscayne Boulevard. So should be fun. But if you guys aren't subscribed or you haven't liked any of the content, make sure you subscribe down below, man. Road to 100 is still active. And if you want to get in on this fan-to-fan action, hit me up, man. My Instagram is right here. You can hit me up in the DMs, and I'll be glad to get somebody on. My idea is that I want to get not every single team that we play, but a good amount of the teams that we play, a fan of that team. And if you feel like you're bold enough to talk about your team, slide on one of these videos. That's how Azil came on here. So with that being said, guys, I will catch you guys in the next vid, and stay put for that preview. Catch you on the next vid. Peace.